Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on Young Race Predictor. Today we are going to be talking about the top wonders and the moments of the Belgian Grand Prix which have taken place this weekend, round number 3rd. Before we dive in, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with all your friends and all the Formula 1 fans we know. With that being said, let's jump right into moment number 1 of this weekend. It's hammer time. It was a horrible start to the weekend. Let's all be honest. For Lewis Hamilton, practice was decent enough. I mean, he was finished in the average normal finishing position in a practice, but then sprint qualifying was horrible. He finished in P18, and then later on in the sprint race as well, it did not go his way. And then when we thought qualifying would be a little better, his lap time got deleted when he went outside in Rouge, and he started from P16. So after that, they had a whole new issue altogether. This was not a very good start at all to Hamilton's weekend. It seemed like one to forget, but the only one good positive thing which had happened was when he has decided to start from the pits with a little change in the car, and that was more than enough to start from the pits in 18th place. Hamilton managed to come home to take P7 on the grid, and that was a beautiful drive here in the rain. He was also given the drives the day, so 100% this was a very good race from Lewis Hamilton the main weekend. It was hammer time indeed when the rain went off and it was time to switch to the dry tires. Ferrari made sure that it was about time to make that decision as soon as possible for Lewis, and Hamilton did come into the pits. He went for the medium tires. He went on to finish the race and come home in the points in P7. A fantastic comeback drive indeed for Lewis Hamilton. Of course, it was a very bad start to the weekend. It was not really great at all, but in the end of the day, he managed to come home, put in a fantastic drive, making up 11 places from the start to come home in P7 in the Belgian Grand Prix. This was moment number 1. Moment number 2, Gabby acing quali. I have not exactly put him as the wonder because Gabriel Bortoletto's entire result, thankfully him finishing in the points this weekend here in the main race, so all thanks to his beautiful qualifying which took place here in Spa this weekend. Coming home in, starting from P10 in the sprint qualification and finishing in P9 in the sprint race, just missing out on that one position for a point. And then he went on to Q3 in the qualifying session as well, the main qualifying, and he started from P10 there. And with the rain and all the weather and the conditions coming into play, Bortoletto still managed to continue the race and he finished in P9. So honestly, this was a very good race from Gabriel Bortoletto, and this is all thanks to his beautiful qualifying laps as well during the entire weekend. So thus this is moment number 2 of this weekend. Moment number 3. This is a sprint race kind of moment. Max masterclass versus the McLarens. It was just a race, 15 laps. And that move after the Kemmel Straight was more than enough for Max Verstappen to just hold off Oscar Piastri, who kept chasing him until the very end with their option of DRS, with of course the advantage of more speed and of course the ERS option as well. There were so many chances of Piastri to make the move on Verstappen, but somehow the home hero managed to keep Piastri right behind his car, and he came home to take the win here in the sprint and began the new era. Laurent Mekies as the new principal for the Red Bull team, and at that moment, by the end of the sprint race, he was the only principal on the grid who had a 100% win rate with a team. Of course, that's not the case now because they didn't win the main race, but what a start to the era it was. And honestly, it was a very good race from Max Verstappen. He made the move early on. He made the right move the right time, and it was more than enough to seal 8 points in that sprint race. Max Verstappen, wonderful racing those 15 laps. He won the sprint, and this is moment number 3 of this weekend. We now move on to the wonders of this entire weekend, and we talk about definitely moment number 1, the man who made the move like Max Verstappen in the sprint race, and this man in the main race managed to hold Verstappen and to come home and take P3. Yes, I'm talking about Charles Leclerc. What a race from the Monegasque. He managed to keep Max Verstappen right behind him in that main race in the wets and the dries. We thought this would be a little bit of an advantage, but somehow he managed to keep his car right ahead of Max Verstappen, and he came home to take a delightful P3 in the main race. And of course, the sprint race as well was not bad at all. I mean, he came home to take P4, but his starting lap saw him in P3, making the move just like Max Verstappen. The perfect move around the outside of Lando Norris after the end of the straight, and that was a fantastic move from Leclerc as well. So he is definitely one of the top wonders of this weekend. Moment number 2, Max Verstappen. Yes, Verstappen managed to seal the deal in the sprint. The race, it may not have gone entirely his way, but he did a good job. He fought until the very end. He was so close to getting Leclerc, but Leclerc, thankfully, and I'm saying this as a Ferrari fan, but thankfully he managed to come home ahead. But nevertheless, it was indeed a very good weekend for Max Verstappen, especially that sprint race win was unbelievable. He managed to keep the McLarens, who were insanely fast for 15 laps, right behind him. So definitely he's a wonder of this weekend. Wonder number three. I'm not gone for Gabriel Bortoleto. I've gone for Alexander Albon because after the Monaco Grand Prix where he came home in P9, of course that beautiful that points finish from the Williams, he did not have a very good set of races. I mean, 3 races of continuous retirement in the fourth race, which thanks to the rain and which gave a little bit of an advantage for Albon. Of course, many drivers coming into the pits as well then. So Albon managed to come home in P8. But this was a very important weekend for Alexander Albon. He had to come home and finish in one of those top positions, and he came home to take P6, a fantastic result for Albon and for the Williams team as well. So he is wonder number three. While the honorable mention, of course, he did not have a very good weekend at all, but the main race was all that caught my eye. Lewis Hamilton, what a race from the pit lane, 18th on the grid, coming home to take P7. That strategy after switching the wet tires to the dries and fighting the positions one by one. He is indeed the honorable mention of this weekend. The Wonder team, without a doubt, is McLaren. They have been insane throughout this entire season. Of course, Lando Norris, he had the pole position, but Oscar Piastri sealing the deal here in Belgium. He won the Grand Prix. He started from pole position in the sprint. Of course, Lando got pole position in the main qualifying as well. So McLaren have done a very good job. They're continuing to do a very good job, and they came home to take a 1-2 here in Belgium. So they are indeed the wonder team of this weekend. So there we have it. And as the current championship standings is Esteban Ocon, after that fantastic sprint qualification, he comes with 27 points in P10. Hulkenberg with 37. Alexander Albon, after that beautiful P6 finish with 54 points, right behind Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Not a very good weekend from Antonelli, but a better one for Lewis Hamilton, which ended off well with 109 points. Charles Leclerc with that delightful podium with 139, right behind George Russell with a 157. Max Verstappen continuing to keep that third place with himself with 185 points, right behind Lando Norris, 250, who's just 16 points ahead of his teammate, Oscar Piastri, who leads the World Championship with 266. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with all your friends and all the Formula 1 fans you know. See you next time for the next video where we talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix predictions. But until then, tuning in next time. Goodbye.